From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, February the 7th, 2017. Israel's Knesset yesterday passed the controversial regulation bill. The legislation legalizes Jewish settlements that were unknowingly built on Palestinian land in Area C of the West Bank. It passed late last night in a vote of 60 in favor, 52 against. Israel's Attorney General has said that the bill likely violates international law, and many believe that Israel's Supreme Court will ultimately strike it down. The regulation bill has caused a great divide within Israeli society and has drawn much criticism from the international community, including from France, Britain, and the United Nations, as well as drawing concern from several Jewish organizations who expressed their disappointment with the bill. CEO of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, called Israel's action misguided and likely to prove counterproductive to Israel's core national interests. President of the Union for Reform Judaism, Rabbi Rick Jacobs, said this action makes more difficult the achievement of a two-state solution and significantly undermines Israeli democracy. He called it a lose-lose policy. The U.S. State Department said that they would wait to see what Israel's courts would do with the bill before they weighed in on the issue. And Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas vowed to fight the regulation bill in international courts. Abbas said during a press conference in Paris following a meeting with French President Francois Hollande that the regulation bill was an attack against the Palestinian people. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today seemed to respond to the criticism over the bill and those who feel it will harm peace efforts. During a press conference with visiting Belgian President Charles Michel, the Israeli Prime Minister said,
I think the problem that we lack, for which we lack peace with the Palestinians, is the simple truth. The persistent Palestinian refusal for the last 70 years, 68 years since Israel was established, to recognize a Jewish state in any boundaries. This is the core of our particular conflict.
The University of California, Riverside said that it would not remove Sabra hummus from its dining halls. After a vote last week by the associated students at the school, 13-0 in favor of a resolution which calls for the removal of the hummus from all campus dining services. The resolution was supported by Students for Justice in Palestine in another effort of the BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement, that seeks to delegitimize the State of Israel. The students said they wanted to remove the Israeli product because of Sabra's partner, Strauss, support for the IDF. According to UC Riverside student paper The Highlander, Assistant Vice Chancellor and campus spokesman James E. Grant said the administration was aware of the resolution, but the university has no plans to change brands that are offered for sale or consumption at the school. The iconic mountaintop of Masada is being studied for the first time in over a decade. Archaeologists will be looking at previously untouched areas of the Judean desert fortress, where Jewish rebels entrenched themselves against the Romans from 66 to 74 CE. A Tel Aviv University team headed by archaeologist Guy Stiebel began a month-long excavation at the site on Sunday. Masada is one of the most visited tourist sites in Israel, and the UN's cultural body UNESCO registered it among its heritage sites in 2001 for Masada's majestic beauty and its importance as a symbol of the ancient kingdom of Israel, its violent destruction, and the last stand of Jewish patriots in the face of the Roman army. Well, some New Yorkers showed they have no tolerance for hate. Anti-Semitic graffiti was discovered Saturday night on a New York City subway, and commuters were quick to respond. Swastikas and hateful messages written with a Sharpie on several of the train's maps, windows, and advertisements were quickly erased by passengers on board who saw the graffiti and asked for hand sanitizer and tissues from their fellow riders, who quickly dove into their handbags and pockets. Within a few minutes, the swastikas and hateful messages were gone. One of those riders posted about the experience on Facebook. Locke's post has been shared over 470,000 times. The World Jewish Congress North America noted the subway incident, as well as several others like it in the country, including an attack on a Chicago synagogue over the weekend. as we reported to you. Chair of the WJCNA, Evelyn Summers, said we will continue our advocacy and educational work on combating racism and anti-Semitism in all its forms. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, February the 7th. At 6:30, Mark Golub will speak with Israeli journalist and author Yossi Klein Halevi of the Shalom Hartman Institute, who discusses the Israeli view of settlements, their legality or illegality, and the peace process on tonight's In the News. Immediately following, former Israeli UN ambassador and current president of the Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, Dori Gold, talks about Israel's security needs. At 8, investigative journalist David Badin, founder of the Israel Resource News Agency and Israel Behind the News, talks about the extent of anti-Semitism in the curriculum of UNRWA Palestinian schools in a program of ISGAP. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Itamar Marcus, founder of Palestinian Media Watch, and at 10, Haaretz editor-in-chief Aluf Ben talks about liberal Zionism. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, February the 7th, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader.